And welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. As always, my name is Zach. If you're new, first time, greatly appreciate your support. I hope you guys keep coming back. And for the ones who are returning, as always, you know I greatly appreciate your support. So what I do on this channel, I speak about my time in prison. I spent 5 years of my life in maximum security prison, Mount Olive Correctional Complex and Huttonsville Correctional Center. Since returning from prison, I've received my medical degree, and I'm currently working in urgent care helping others who unfortunately cannot help themselves. So what I do is I speak about my time in prison along with getting out. I also do video chat interviews and phone interviews with inmates that's still locked up in prison, regardless for murder, drug charges, thieving, robbery. At the end of the day, you can shoot guns, you can sell dope, you can steal stuff, but I promise you that 7x12 is no fun at all. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you'll be first informed when I upload. So today, what we're going to be talking about is, so someone asked me a question. It was like, what if you get beat up in jail and prison? Does that affect your bid? Does that change anything? Well, short answer, yes and no. So, at the end of the day, regardless if you're affiliated with a gang or not, as long as you stick up for yourself, it doesn't matter. You win some, you lose some. I've seen the biggest guys get knocked out by some of the smallest dudes. As long as you pretty much fought, or you stood up for yourself, or you stood up for a homeboy for whatever reason, if you fought and you walked away from it, as long as you didn't get punked, right, then you're good, pretty much, right? Like I said, we win some, we lose some. I lost one. I'm definitely going to say I lost one, and that was against an individual named Antonio Collins, aka Shade. So he was sitting in prison for murder. He was going into a gas station, someone bumped him, didn't say excuse me, wham, shot him, then boom, tried shooting his homeboy back there by like the coolers or whatever. So this dude was in prison for all that crazy stuff. He ended up slapping me, we ended up getting into a fight, he ended up starting getting the best of me, hit me with my glasses on, got my eye real good. Luckily, one of my dogs, Chris, actually came in and kind of saved my eye, you know what I'm saying? After that, we commenced the whooping the dog out of this dude. There's been plenty of times where I've seen individuals get slapped, right? Or get punked. You can get punked in plenty of different ways. Either someone's taking your stuff, someone's bullying you around, taking your food, taking anything, just taking stuff, belittling you, calling you whores, punks, bitches, all the no-no words, right? If they're doing this to you and it's a constant thing and you're not doing anything back, those are the individuals that's going to get preyed upon. If you do not fight back, you're going to get preyed upon. Even if you lose, you'll be fine. So, would you rather keep getting punked, right? Most likely end up getting slapped. Sometimes people unfortunately get sexually assaulted if they do not stand up for themselves. Depends what prison you're in, to be honest with you. In my head, it's like this. This is how I see it. If people in prison and out here on the streets frown upon people that rape individuals, right? So why is it that whenever people are in prison, in jail, incarcerated, and they take another man's manhood, right, they sexually assault him, why isn't that individual looked upon the same way as the other sickos that end up catching charges out here on the streets and then go to prison in the first place for? You know what I'm saying? It's like people pick and choose. It's really weird. Like, for anyone that's never been to prison, if you ever talk to somebody that's been locked up and been in prison, we'll always say it's a completely different world. And that's a pure example as to how just diluted and weird stuff. The atmosphere is just very diluted and it's very weird. People will enforce these rules but then turn a blind eye to these rules. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very strange. Now, if you're a gang member, right, and you don't fight back, say you do something you're not supposed to, right? Someone gets upset, slaps you, punches you, whatever. A lot of dudes will join gangs for the wrong reasons. This is why I always preach, do not join any prison organization or gang in general. Doesn't matter if you're locked up or out here on the streets. If you're out here on the streets, you're going to have to do something that you're told to do, right? Which then eventually will get you locked up. So going backwards for other people makes no sense at all. Now, at the end of the day, if you have someone that's leading whatever unit, whatever set you're with, right? If they're more of the positivity, change going forward type stuff, no dummy mission type stuff, that's something different. You get what I'm saying? It's always supposed to be about growth. Knowledge is first and foremost. The more you know, the more knowledge you hold, the more power you hold. You know what I'm saying? So if you have individuals around you that are telling you to go do this and do that, and you end up getting slapped up by somebody and you don't do anything about it, now not only are they going to really trash you, most likely you're going to lose your flag. Losing your flag is pretty much you're not in the gang no more. You know what I'm saying? You're X-nade, they've done put you on the island, you're no good anymore because you didn't stand up for yourself. Which at the end of the day, most of these dudes end up joining because they can't stand up for themselves. In their head, they don't think that they would be able to survive prison. That's not true. As long as you are yourself, don't pretend to be anybody else, don't put yourself in anybody's business, don't put yourself around gang members' business. If you're hanging around, you're going to be involved with whatever they are, even if you aren't a part of it. If you're hanging around them all the time, yeah, you are with them now. So now you're going to be a target. If people know that you're not a part of the gang, you just hang around, they're going to target you. You know what I'm saying? Especially people of the opposition. At the end of the day, as long as you yourself, you have no reason to worry about getting anything stolen from. Nor do you have to worry about getting beat up for no reason, because a lot of these young dudes like going ganging up on individuals. That's not cool. To me, that's cowardly acts. If you take 4 or 5 year dudes to go beat up some old dude for no reason at all, to me, you're a coward, to be honest with you. Now, prison it's set up different. There's a bunch of people I know that lost every single fight they ever had. And I mean like 15, 20 fights within a 5-year period, right? Whoa. Never won a single one, but people respected him. At the end of the day, it's because he fought. Now, he was one of the ones that he had a mouth. He liked to get himself in trouble, but he couldn't fight. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't fight with a lick. But he kept putting himself in these situations. Now, people would call him to the cell, and he'd go right in, get his little butt whooped, and come right back out, smiling because he knows he ain't going to get punked. People aren't going to mess with him unless he ends up drinking the hooch, running in his mouth. Now, a lot of times, people will end up getting beat up and stuff like that when they're drunk. A lot of people will drink, can't handle their liquor, can't handle their hooch, and they'll start saying certain things. Now, if you're in a gang, that's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get cocky and start set tripping, start stacking on people. Like, that's a real good way to get stabbed in your neck. Start stacking on somebody else when you're drunk in a gang unit or on the yard, anywhere, it doesn't matter. You just don't do certain things like that. I feel like a lot of times people need to get slapped up. People need a wake-up call because there's people out here on the streets in freedom that are taking their freedom not so seriously. Like, a lot of people feel that the only way you're going to gain respect is if people think you're a shooter, or if you have a gun, or if you wave a gun, or if you have all this money. People idolize things that gets them sent to prison, and then once you're in prison, all those things that you wanted and had, they're not there anymore. Oh, and those people that were around you while you had all this stuff, they're most definitely not there either. Nor are they going to pick up your phone call. So, priority-wise, what are we working towards? What goals do we want? At the end of the day, it all boils down to respect. If you respect me, I respect you. Vice versa. Also, most people think that once you get big in prison, you can fight. That's not fact. That is fiction, okay? Now, prison mindset, a felon's mindset is people who are respected are mostly the violent individuals, okay? That's how your respect is earned in prison. Unfortunately, that's really how it is. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not a violent individual on the streets, if you're involved in something, you're going to have to become violent, because if not, someone's going to hurt you, especially if you get yourself involved in a gang. Now, you don't have to be a badass. You don't have to be a certain individual to be respected. going out and trying to pick fights all the time, not always going to get you respected. Most likely it's going to get you beat up, getting attention brought on you for no reason. People don't like it when you bring attention on them, especially if they're in the mix, if they're doing stuff. They don't want eyes on them. That's why a lot of people don't like it when people end up going and just standing around the COs all the time. That can get you beat up and hurt too a lot of the time. That will give you no respect in prison. Now, there's a difference between being around the COs all the time and doing nothing, opposed to being around the COs and getting something. You know what I'm saying? If you're just gossiping around the COs with people in the pod, you're going to get hurt. Especially if you're telling the CO people's business. Like I said, respect goes a long way. Staying out the CO's face, staying out the inmate's face, staying to yourself, pretending not to be anybody else, being yourself, that's how you earn respect. Today was just a short video on what happens if you get beat up. Do you still get the respect or do you lose it? Like I said, as long as you fight back, stand up as a man, stay to yourself, don't pretend to be anybody else, you will have no problems at all. Smooth sailing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys return for more. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button if you haven't already done it, so you're first informed when I upload. As always, I greatly appreciate it. I send my utmost love, loyalty, to respect. Keep pushing positivity, guys, and I hope you guys come back for more. We gone.